Hey, what's up, ODAAT Nation? Super excited to have my friend Dustin Singer on with us today. Dustin, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. So, for the people who don't know, who is Dustin Singer?
So I am a real estate investor based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am married with two kids. We've been doing my wife originally did real estate with me for a little bit in the beginning. Then once the kids came along, that changed things a little bit. But we've been in the business for about going on 4 years now.
Mhm. That's awesome, man. And now, do you do like stuff virtually too, or are you just in Pennsylvania where you're at?
We're just in Pittsburgh.
Just in
We
Pittsburgh. Oh,
do
okay.
yeah, we do a little bit of virtual in our surrounding counties.
Hmm.
But other than that, we're pretty much just in the greater Pittsburgh area.
Oh, awesome. All right, man. So how did you first get into real estate? And what were you up to before that? And how'd you first get into it?
Yeah. So the job that I had, the W-2 job that I had before this, I was a commercial carpenter. I was
Mhm.
working in the union in Pittsburgh, and my wife and I had kind of always been obsessed with HGTV and Fix and Flipper, and I forget a lot of the name of the shows now, but we used to watch all those shows, so we kind of just decided one day, hey, let's give this flipping thing a try. And I flipped two houses in 2019 on the side while I was
Mhm.
working full time. And then actually probably one of the best things in hindsight ever happened to me. I got hurt at work. I threw my back out like really, really bad.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, to like wheelchair bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of like one of those defining moments where it's like, hey, we started doing this other thing here. It's working. We're making some money off of it. So
Mm.
let's make it work full time, because I didn't have much of another choice, at that moment.
Right. That's awesome, man. That's cool. It's not awesome you got hurt, but it's cool you had that to fall
Yeah.
back on. But,
Yeah.
but that's awesome, man. So, yeah, I know when I first got started, I didn't really have a ton of money or experience. Did you have any of that stuff coming in?
No, no, we knew, like, other than watching shows, which for most people that are in the game know they're totally unrealistic.
Mhm.
Um, we knew hardly anything. I had probably between the two of us $10,000 in savings to our names, and kind of just winged the first one.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. And how'd that first one go? Did it work out well, or how'd you guys do on that one?
So we were working 80 hours a week,
Mhm.
40 at our regular, and then 40 nights and weekends working on this house. We had purchased a foreclosure off the MLS through a real estate agent. I remember walking into that house the first time. I'm like, man, I think we made a mistake. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with this. Um, but we slaved away for actually all summer of 2019. We were working in that house together. I had a couple buddies help me as well. We hired a few contractors, and for 4 months, we're in there working. The real estate agent that we bought the house with brought a buyer to us before we were even done,
Mm.
and we closed like, I mean, I'm literally finishing up stair treads, and we're closing like later that afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we made a decent chunk of change on that,
Mhm.
and at that time it was like life-changing money,
Right.
like half of my salary for the year.
Mhm.
So I'm like, man, there might be something to this.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, it's so cool how you can really make so much money in real estate, and it's crazy when you think of it just like half of your salary in just one deal.
Yeah,
So what happened? So you say you did a couple before you got hurt at work, or how many flips did you do before that happened?
we did two
Two.
before
Okay.
actually really one. I got hurt when we were maybe a couple weeks into the second one.
Hmm.
Um, which that taught me real quick how to hire contractors,
Right.
because I couldn't, we did all the work ourselves more or less on the first one. And the second one I had started to, but because of the back issues, it was just, there was no way.
Mm. No, that makes sense. So what was that like? Well, you walk us through that. You're hurt from work, can't have, can't do what you're used to doing for work, and you kind of have to just go all in.
Yeah, I really had to watch because they were following me around or spying on me to make sure that I wasn't doing anything I
Oh,
wasn't
damn.
supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was it was definitely probably one of the most challenging times in my life. I didn't get paid. My at the time my wife was still working a full-time job and she made decent money. So
Mhm.
that obviously helped. But we were used to living off of two incomes and our bills reflected that.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, one income or half of our annual salary together was completely gone. Um, I wasn't getting a weekly paycheck.
Mhm.
As everyone knows, it's in this industry, in the real estate industry, your cash to conversion cycle on flips is usually long. It
Right.
could be up to, 6, maybe even 9 months, depending on, what's going on.
Right.
So it was definitely a challenging time financially. We had definitely like maxed out credit cards, had a hard money loan on the property. We're paying that monthly payment.
Mm.
Um, we were, by the time we got paid on that second one, we were like down to the wire on a lot of our savings and credit card limits.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. So did that second one, did that get you caught up, or what
It
happened when
got
you?
us caught up. I think we made about 20,000 on that one.
Mhm.
So not the best flip, but not terrible either.
Right.
But between those first two, I had made my entire carpenter salary for an entire year.
Oh,
So it
nice.
was like almost like a reset button. And
Mhm.
that gave us the nest egg to be able to start treating it more like a business. And we started doing marketing. Actually, I think so. The second one we bought as a referral. It's just
Mhm.
a real estate agent I knew someone that was selling a probate property. And I just went in there and we bought it. We didn't start doing actual marketing until after that property was done. So
Mm.
those first two kind of just fell in our lap.
Right. That's cool how that worked out though. So what have you, yeah, so what was it like since then? What are you guys doing now? Yeah, so you went all in, you're kind of in a tough spot, and you got out of it. And so what happened after that?
So the first year in business, off the top of my head, I can't even tell you how many deals we did. Wasn't a
Mhm.
ton.
Yeah.
Um, maybe 10 total. Now at the time we weren't really wholesaling.
Mhm.
These were all deals that we were buying in-house and rehabbing. I knew about wholesaling at the time, but didn't really fully understand it or what purpose it served or, whatever you want to call it. So we did, however many more flips that year. And actually, I haven't done a bad flip until until 2022. I think
Really?
a lot of people got hurt pretty bad last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So we did really, really well on quite a few of those
Mhm.
that we did that first year. And it kind of gave us that momentum and even more of a nest egg to be able to kind of double down on some marketing.
Mhm.
And I think 2021, which was the following year, that's kind of when we started wholesaling and seeing that, a lot of people talk about like we're in the business of sales and marketing. We're not
Mhm.
really house flippers. We're real
Right.
estate investors. So we're marketing to all these off-market properties, trying to acquire these properties, and now we're able to put them into different buckets as far as wholesale, flips, and then of course, the natural progression. We started getting interested in rental properties. So now we have all these different exit strategies that we're creating based off of doing this marketing. And even at this point, I still really had no idea what I'm doing. Like looking on it, the numbers that we track now and what we do now versus what we were doing then, it was just
Mhm.
like, hey, let's throw something at the wall and see what sticks. And it
Right.
worked. I mean, it all works.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people get stuck with what works best, but I mean, it all works if you want to do it, and then some just work better than others, and yeah, and figure it out as you go. So
Yeah, for sure.
what are you doing differently now, that from what you're doing then, or what's the biggest changes you think?
So we've doubled our gross profit every year since we started.
Mhm.
Last year we hit over that $1 million mark.
Nice.
Um, I would say the probably one of the biggest things that's made it different in my life is like personal coaching and
Mhm.
masterminding. Um, we went to anyone that knows like Mark Ferguson, he's out in Colorado. We went to his off. We had done maybe 3 flips at this point. We went to his office. I paid $4,500 to spend 2 days with him and kind of learn about his business and what he was doing. And that was like our first introduction to a mastermind or seminar type event. Actually, no seminar. I hate that word. It's like a negative connotation for me. But we went to that and I'm like, okay, maybe there's something to this, networking with these other people and, seeing what everyone else is doing. And, you and I were in the same mastermind together for the past year, and I'm in a real estate specific one now. And just being able to be in a room with other people that are ahead of you on the path. I mean, light year progression,
right?
Light year. So that's a lot of the changes that we made last year was just being around some of those people and dialing in on KPIs and dialing in on, sales strategies and exit strategies and kind of just putting everything into, keep feeding that bucket to just be able to get more efficient and scale at the same time.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So what are the KPIs you guys track most often, or which one do you guys think are most important?
We our operating system is built in Monday.com. It's like similar to Asana or Trello. So we have everything kind of split into per department. So we have KPIs we track for finance, KPIs we track for sales, for marketing, a couple admin kind of just one-off KPIs. Definitely at the beginning of the day, the marketing and the sales, 100%, they drive the entire business. We could be terrible rehabbers, but if we're buying right and marketing right, we're probably still going to make money.
Right.
Because that's where it all starts. So, our main ones are like the normal pipeline, like gross leads to net leads, to quality conversations, to appointments, to offers, to deals. It's our typical sales pipeline. In marketing, it's return on ad spend, cost per deal, what's producing the most net leads.
Right.
And then our average revenue per marketing channel. Those are what we have found to be kind of the most important KPIs in our business.
Yeah. No, there's some great ones for sure. Yeah, I like that you're not also just tracking like how many deals you're getting, but how big the deal size is from what channel with you. That's smart.
Yeah, we used to do that. And, it gives you a limited picture, obviously, and there's levels to it. But as you kind of want to get a little bit more efficient and dial in, you have to dive a little bit deeper into those numbers for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So how big of a difference has it been for you since you started tracking the numbers and tracking the KPIs?
Well, last year was like a $600,000 gross profit difference.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big, I think we did like 400-ish the year before that. And then last year, we were pretty close to 1.5, like right under it. And I'm considering gross profit like revenue minus cost of goods sold. So that doesn't include marketing and office expenses and things like that, but that's kind of our net, profit number for all that. Which I think is a lot of how a lot of real estate companies gauge their gross profit kind of in the same way. Yeah,
for sure. So are you guys doing still mostly flips now, or are you doing more wholesales than flips, or a bit of both?
We are, I probably have the numbers somewhere, but I would say if I had to take a guess, we're like 75% wholesaling and then 25% in-house rehabs. Out of those in-house rehabs, I would say 25% are flips and 75% we are, at least up until lately, have been doing the BRRRR strategy. So times have changed a little bit with interest rates.
Yeah.
But that was working really, really well for us for all of the end of 2021 and pretty much all of 2022.
So what are you guys doing differently now?
We're back to kind of looking, the initial thought process or goal was to start to build some wealth. Flipping and wholesaling is great until you get that tax bill at the end of the year.
Right.
So The rentals obviously help offset that with
Mhm.
depreciation and things like that. But we're kind of with increased interest rates,
Mhm.
it's becoming a little bit harder to get our cash out refinances done at the prices that we need them to. So we've been looking kind of back to basics of what's going to get us the best ROI
Mhm.
right now at this given point in time. So not that wealth building is not important, but at this moment, cash becomes very important too, as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've been slowing down the flips and doing more wholesales on our side.
Yeah.
But we took an L on, I think, the one I was telling you and Ryan about at the mastermind with the plumbing. We had all this issues, and we ended
Yeah.
up losing money on that flip. And then we're like, oh, we're gonna focus more on wholesaling. So walk us through. You said so you didn't lose on a single flip until last year. That was the first time.
Yeah. And I mean, from a gross profit number, we didn't technically lose.
Mm-hmm.
We had one. It was probably the worst deal I've ever done. We bought a property for like 160. We put 185 into it. We thought it was going to sell all day long for 45,500. Would have been almost a 6-figure flip.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time the BRI on the retail sale and what we sold it for, I think we netted on it maybe like 425, 428, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
So we walked away about 20K net. But for people who've been doing this a while, once you take marketing and everything else out of that,
Right.
there's not much there. And for a $185,000 project, we held that thing for 9 months. It was that was painful.
Yeah.
Glad to walk away from it in the green, but that one was painful. And then we had another one. This was a virtual mistake, actually. I bought this house totally sight unseen. We had an inspector walk the property. It was a Cape Cod, which is like the 1.5 story. I don't know if you guys have those in Texas. Hopefully not.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah. The bedrooms were freakishly small. And we went to go, I walked it the day before closing. I'm like, oh my God, I overpaid for this place.
Yeah.
It's too late. Pulled the trigger, threw it on the market. What happened is exactly what I thought it would happen. No one liked it. Bedrooms are too small. We walked away, I think, gross profit like 4K in the positive. So that one was definitely, after marketing expenses, commissions, and everything else, that one was a slight loss. So we walked away last year not too bad.
Yeah.
Parked a little bit of money in some rental properties, but I can still, if I can buy a renovated property for $10,000,
right,
that's still a win for me.
Yeah, 100%. So with your rentals, do you manage them all yourself? Do you use like a property management company?
Unfortunately, we still manage them all. We have 21 single families and 2 commercial investments. We're fairly dialed in on a lot of automations and processes for the property management. So I do have a virtual assistant that helps out with a lot of the paperwork and the back end stuff. So it's not that bad. When we first got into it, I saw what the numbers look like if we gave the property management fees to a property manager, and it just seemed like it wasn't worth it.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, the fees are high, and I know a lot of people have bad experiences with them too. So it's hard to find the right one and go through all that. But how much time do you think it takes you to manage them yourself?
If we don't have any turnovers, I mean, we're probably talking 2 hours, 3 hours a month. So it's really, no, it's not bad at all. If there's a turnover, it kind of depends. We're trying to, at the moment, bring in an in-house agent we're going to start making offers on MLS properties again.
Oh, nice.
And, they're going to do some of our dispo, and then they're also going to assist in leasing as well. So, as of up until now, I've been doing most of the leasing showings myself, which is like my least favorite thing to do in the world.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So how big is your team?
I've recently lost a few people. So we're down to two VAs and 1 acquisition and myself. We had an in-house office manager as of recently. We also had a project manager. The office manager went out on maternity leave. She decided not to come back.
Mm,
And then we did lose a project manager, which has been a huge pain for me personally. I hate construction.
right.
I hate it with a passion.
Yeah. So why do you hate it for everybody listening?
Uh maybe because I used to do it.
Hmm.
I don't, it's almost like I wish that I didn't know anything about it so I could just totally put it in someone else's hands. But um other than like HVAC and some electrical stuff, pretty
Hmm.
well versed on a lot of construction. So we're I think we do a fairly good job of managing.
Hmm.
Um I hate the day to day of dealing with contractors and uh vendors with materials and things missing and things breaking and people scratching floors. And
Hmm.
it's if you're gonna rehab, it's a ride, as you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, a lot of headaches for sure. So if someone was just getting started, they want to get into real estate, since you both, what would you recommend? I know most people want to do flips because they watch the TV shows. Do you think flips is the best way to start, or do you think wholesaling?
um I might actually have maybe of a non-mainstream opinion on this. I actually think doing a flip is really good experience for someone
Hmm.
just getting started. And I say that because as a wholesaler, uh, you almost have to buy even deeper than what a flipper would,
Right.
because you have to make a fee on top of it.
Hmm.
Um, and with wholesaling, you have to be really, really good at sales and marketing. And some
Hmm.
people, that's not their strong suit. You can kind of hire people out to do construction for you, and they may be good, they may be bad. It would be very, very difficult to hire someone sales and marketing right off the gate.
Right.
So it's if you can get a good deal, it's a little bit easier to buy off the MLS, buy from a wholesaler, get a referral,
Hmm.
um, get something from a networking event, whatever the case may be. And then it allows you to learn your numbers too. So that if you
Right.
do want to get into wholesaling, you have a realistic idea of, wow, this actually costs this, not this.
Hmm.
And you know, you get a sense of ARVs and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's a great point of view because I think we did over what, but besides when we lost on, even with still losing money on that one, we did pretty well in our flips last year, like overall. But yeah, it was looking back, I'm like, oh, I probably would have made more if I just focused on wholesaling. But like you said, it was the education was great. I learned how hard money loans work. I learned, what the whole process is like for the end buyer, and again, rehab, and I made a bunch of connections with title companies and other people too. So I think that definitely makes sense because then I feel like the biggest issue is most new wholesalers don't know their numbers. So once you find out how quickly money goes, you're gonna get better at those numbers.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right. But for sure, man, that's great. So what do you? I know you mentioned you guys do a lot of marketing. What's marketing channels working best for you guys now?
So we started off with direct mail, um, which seems to be the most popular kind of when people are starting off.
Hmm.
And it worked well. We were hitting tax delinquents and doing a lot of probates. In fact, the majority of our business was probates for quite a while. Then
Hmm.
I couldn't really tell you what happened. At some point, we just decided to get into inbound marketing
Yeah.
solely, digital inbound marketing.
Hmm.
We kind of dropped off on the direct mail for no specific reason and solely focused on SEO, PPC, Facebook ads.
Hmm.
And we've been doing that for strictly a little over a year now, probably.
Hmm.
We've had PPC running for about 2 years, but we've been solely digital for like the past year-ish or so. Um, that being said, it is getting a lot more expensive as
Hmm.
of recently for those marketing channels.
Right.
So we are looking back into doing possibly some direct mail and cold calling again.
Hmm.
Um, kind of a big believer in the omni-channel marketing. Whereas,
Right.
if you can hit someone with a call, a text, a mail piece, they can find you easily online.
Hmm.
You're just going to be able to capitalize on more of those leads that you're marketing to.
Yeah, 100%. No, I love that. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much what we're doing. Yeah, so we're doing like a lot of like SMS and voicemail marketing.
Uh,
So we do that and that works pretty well. And then we just have on calls with people that are interested. And I find to be more efficient than cold calling. I mean, cold calling works great too, but yeah, I think like we said before, whatever it all works as long as you do it.
right. Yeah. No, it definitely, I mean, tried all of it, and it produces results.
Mhm.
Some of it's easier than others, and some of it's cheaper or more expensive. Just kind of depends on what route you want to go.
Right. So for going back to like for someone who just want to get started in real estate, are there any books you'd recommend or websites or courses or anything for them to get into to learn real estate?
So we were almost obsessed with
Mhm.
everything BiggerPockets
Yeah.
in the beginning. I mean, I would attribute at least 70% of my knowledge probably to BiggerPockets. So we were
Mhm.
diving into the forums, reading the blog articles. We read a lot of their books. For anyone that's wants to learn about rental properties or managing rental properties, Brandon Turner has a couple books that are amazing for that.
Mhm.
Jay Scott is another BiggerPockets guy. We read his book, the book on flipping houses and the book on estimating rehab cost.
Mhm.
Those were like our cornerstone foundational pieces in the very beginning. And obviously we've built on a lot of this stuff, but as an entry level kind of getting into it,
Yeah.
those books were amazing for sure.
Yeah, they do a great job. Yeah, it's the same for me. Just went super into the podcast and then found the blog. And yeah, it's there's a lot of, I don't think as many people know about the blog, but there's like a lot of good info in there.
Yeah, there is. And they're releasing I'm not so much into it anymore, but they release way more information than they did, 4 years ago.
Mhm.
They've really gotten or grown a lot over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, one of the big questions I ask everyone who comes on is, the podcast is one day at a time. So I believe if you can win the day, tomorrow's going to take care of itself. What are some of the things you do to win the day?
So when I'm on my game, I'm normally at the gym at 5:30.
Mhm.
Lately, I can't. In fact, Brian, who you've had on this show, he would be busting my ass right now because
Yeah.
I've been slacking lately. But
Mhm.
when I'm on my game, I'm at the gym at 5:30. I do like to read at least 10 pages of a
Mhm.
book or listen to an audible almost every single day. I've been trying the meditation thing lately. It is very, very hard for me.
It's really fucking hard. Yeah, I suck at it,
Yeah.
dude. So hard.
I'm not the type of person that can sit still very easily. So it's kind of like, my mind's all over the place. I want to jump on the laptop and do something or whatever the
Right.
case may be. But the other big thing too, and we kind of already brushed on this, is kind of like being present or active in my groups.
Mhm.
Whether that's some local guys that I'm in a text chain with that we're keeping each other accountable, kind of busting balls a little bit, or one of the mastermind groups, like making sure that I'm attending those meetings and getting on those calls, because those are kind of like my, reset periods where I'm able to kind of walk away from what's going on in life
Mhm.
and listen to other people's struggles, how I relate to it, and then bring it back to what's going on with me.
No, that's great. I love that. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. I know I got a bunch of great info. I'm sure the audience did as well. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you or follow you online?
So Instagram is Dustin Buys Houses handle.
Mhm.
My email is also dustin@dustinbuysHouses.net if you want to reach me directly.
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, thanks again for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, man.